Hello YouTube. Well, harvest 2021 is officially underway. This is the third day of harvest for us. Today is September, what is it, 17th, I believe, something like that. Didn't do much filming the first 2 days. You know how it is. You're trying to get things set and going, and you know, it's kind of a pain to be filming and trying to get all that stuff working right, and just don't have time for it. So anyway, hopefully we can get back in the groove of things here. First day out the gate, one minor problem here on the new combine. Of course, we cut wheat with it, so it's not like it, you know, we hadn't ran it at all. But broken unloading auger chain, and it looked like there's two sprockets back there that chain goes around for your unloading system. And there was a set screw on one of the sprockets that apparently didn't get tightened properly from the factory. It had a lot of play in it, and I think it let that sprocket slide over and it got out of alignment, and it busted the unloading auger chain, which that chain was a little bit, I don't know, not made to spec. I don't know what you want to call it, but you know, you got your rivets go through the rollers, and not where it broke, but another spot in that chain, one of them rivets wasn't even all the way through the rollers. The head wasn't even on it. So I think it was an inferior chain to start with, and then when this sprocket got a little bit out of alignment, that didn't help and it broke it. So nonetheless, put new keys in the sprockets, got them all tightened back up, got a new chain on it. I think it only cost us 30-40 minutes, you know, downtime, so wasn't really a big issue at all. And knock on wood, that's the only trouble we've had so far. This corn here is 1298 Pioneer, planted, I think it was April 23rd, I believe. Fall applied anhydrous ammonia, no fungicide, no side dress, none of that stuff. And I'm pleasantly surprised on yields. That top one right there, that's your instant yield that's coming into the machine. That's your instant moisture. And then there's your field average on yield and average on moisture. I've been kind of bouncing back and forth all year, you know, back about, you know, June, maybe 1st of July. I thought, man, this is going to be a really good crop because we've had plenty of rain and just, you know, really had ideal growing conditions. And as the summer drug on and I walked out in a few fields, I kind of started going backwards a little bit. I thought, man, I just don't think it's there. I thought, you know, it's going to be really good. I thought, you know, 200 to 210 bushel an acre was going to catch most of it. I didn't think we'd see any 230s, 240s, but turns out I was wrong. This is 70 acres in this field, and we're averaging basically 214 now. So I think by the time this field's done, we're going to end up averaging around probably close to 220. But we picked 40 acres up closer to the farm. It averaged 228, I believe it was. Done 12 acres there at my house. It was right at 230. Now this is all dry bushels per acre. So yeah, it's coming in a little bit better than what I thought. So we're happy with that. But yeah, we're just kind of plucking away at it here. A lot of disease out in the field this year. And I did not spray fungicide on any of my corn. Kevin sprayed all of his corn. And so we were kind of curious, you know, to see how that was going to play out. And from what we're seeing now that we're in the fields, you know, had we waited or had that disease come in, you know, probably 2 weeks earlier, this would have been a complete train wreck, I think, because there is plenty of disease out there. But I think it just hit late enough that it didn't really hurt anything. Now, we haven't done any of the corn yet that was sprayed with fungicide. So, you know, I guess I'm not saying it couldn't be 10, 15 bushel better. I don't know. I don't think that's going to be the case, but it very well could be. And by all rights, it should be, you know, because fungicide is pretty expensive. Kept old Henry home from school today. We're kind of far from home and needed all the help we could get. And luckily, once we get this field done, we'll have one more 30-acre field down in the river bottom, which that corn, it's going to be, I'm going to say it's going to be average to maybe only slightly above average. It had a lot of water damage on it, so there won't be near the bushels, you know, to be hauling on it. But yeah, being this far from home with this good of yields takes quite a bit of manpower to get all this stuff moved, so I kept him home from school. Okay, you're full. corn's actually a little drier than it looks. I just took a sample to the elevator, and my moisture here in the combine was right on the money. Now you see it spike up there because that corn was a little greener back there, but it's still averaging 22.7. So that's a plus. We're taking it home, running it through the shivers, and then we'll haul some out. It's supposed to rain Monday and Tuesday, so we'll probably end up hauling some grain out of the bin to town that's already been dried and go that route, which I don't know if you guys follow me on TikTok. I have a lot of people asking me why we do it that way, and the simple answer is we try to get some corn in the bin, get it dried, and get it to town to get our contracts full before everybody else starts. Or, you know, not everybody, but, you know, get it before the big rush gets there, and then you're not sitting in line all day and jacking around when elevators are full and closed and everything else. And the bad part is this year is, you know, usually starting out in harvest, it seems like you got a fair amount of corn gets picked, and after, I don't know, you know, week 10 days, then a few guys start cutting beans, and then it seems like it goes to all beans, and then it'll go back to corn. You know, it kind of goes in a little bit of a cycle there. But this year, it looks like corn and beans both are going to hit about the exact same time. And, you know, down here where we're at, we've got several elevators right here in the area, but most of them don't have multiple pits. You know, they're dumping corn and beans in one pit, and that just makes for a pain in the ass. You know, when one truck is beans and the next truck's corn and back and forth, then you got to let the entire pit clean out and switch bins and whatnot. So, you know, it can be a pain when it gets like that. And, you know, you always get the smart-ass comments on TikTok, because, you know, like I say, most of you that follow me on here probably follow me on there too, so you sort of see maybe what's coming on these videos to some degree ahead of time. But, you know, you get all these people, your elevators need to upgrade and blah, 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 and it's like, you know, they're not giving grain bins away. The last time I checked, the damn things were up about 50% in price. Pits are the same way. I mean, what are you going to do with labor? I mean, there's a humongous labor shortage in this country, so you can add all the extra bins and pits and everything else you want. If you ain't got nobody to run them, it ain't going to do you no good. So, you know, I don't know, a lot of these clowns, they need to think before they speak. And, you know, I have a lot of people tell me that too. You know, well, you guys just need to build more bins at home. Well, it don't work that way. I mean, you got to have an area to do that, first of all, the land to do it. And, you know, they don't just give bins away, and you can't build enough bins to hold an entire bumper crop. I mean, it's one thing to have enough storage to hold close to an average crop, but, you know, you can't go out planting for, you know, 300 bushel corn and you're only raising 200 bushel corn. I mean, that just, you know, some of these guys just need to think before they speak, is all there is to it. So, I don't know. I'll show you here on the yield map, any area like that that's really red, that means that the yield is poor. I think I've got it set up to where that's less than 175 bushels an acre. It's kind of hard to see because this map is zoomed way out, but those areas right there, that's what's killed the yield. And of course this area up here, that's really wet anyway. There's a surface ditch runs through there, and then these are just little pockets here. But you can pinpoint exactly where the problem areas are. So we got done up on the prairie there yesterday. We're down in the river bottom now. This is going to be our worst corn for sure, but it's actually surprisingly better than what I thought it would be. But with that being said, I'm not to the real bad areas of the field yet, so that could affect the yield as we go here. Showing an average of 193 right now, and if you back up here to the map, I think my parameters are set. Anything that's really dark green is 250 bushels an acre, and then the low end of the grid, like anything red, would be 175 or less. But you can see up here along this end row, that's real, which that 11 E's in the way, but that's all red through there. And then over here, there's some brush down here. But then right out here, there's about, I don't know, an acre, maybe two. Since we're in the river bottom, this is a great big steep hill right here. You can't see it because of the trees, but all that water comes off and comes down here, it just sets. And this is actually tiled over into this drainage ditch. There's a drainage ditch here between the corn and beans, then the river is over there where that field is. But, you know, when you go getting 6, 7, 8 inches at a time, it don't matter if you got tile or not, it just can't get it out. So that affected us a bunch. And then when you get out here in the middle, there's a big hole out there where water tends to stand. So I'm curious to see where we'll end up. I got a funny feeling that 193 is not going to hold. I mean, I'm thinking closer to 180, but I guess we'll know here shortly. Old Henry's still sticking right with it. But yeah, it was time to get this corn out. It's averaging 20.7 on moisture, but I don't know, quite a few leaners in there, and just, I don't know. It's time to get her out, that's all I can tell you. So I went ahead and just finished the field, and I tightened my parameters up to now where the dark green is 220 bushels an acre or more, and then everything else that's red is 175 or less. So you can see exactly where the water damage come from. And then down here, there's an area there I didn't even get to plant this spring. It was just too wet. It just stays wet all the time. So that's where we ended up on that, and the final yield ended up being 177. So I knew it was going to come down quite a ways, and sure enough it did. Well, we come out of the river bottom. Main farm's right over there where them trees are, so we're up here close to the house. But this is DeKalb corn here, and this did have fungicide sprayed on it. So, you know, I don't know how much of a comparison you can do Pioneer versus DeKalb when you throw the fungicide, because the Pioneer that we've been on so far did not have fungicide on it, but all the DeKalb did. And here's the numbers coming in. Of course, that's immediate yield. There's field average 248. So thus far, if you're only looking at the fungicide, then it's definitely paid for itself. Looks like that's about an 18 bushel difference. And we've done different fungicide trials in the past, sprayed whole fields here and there, and just done different stuff on and off. And a lot of years we never could see where it really paid. And this year we ended up doing about half the acres, and looks like it was a thing to do. But you know, every year is different. Some years you get really bad diseases, and other years you don't. So it's kind of a crapshoot, but it definitely looks like this year was the year to do it, which a lot of this corn is full of disease, but it come in late enough we didn't know if it was going to hurt it that bad or not. So, but it looks like it definitely paid. So today's Sunday, and we normally don't ever work on Sundays unless we absolutely have to. But this field we was in yesterday, we got 4 acres left, and they're saying we're supposed to get an inch of rain tonight. So I told the rest of the guys just stay home. Me and Henry can get it. So we come up this morning here to dump. We filled everything last night, so we dumped all the trucks and got everything cleaned out, and we're down here going to pick this 4 acres. But yeah, I let him run the combine today on 4 acres like this. We ain't that big of a hurry. Gives him some experience that way. So he's in that, and I'm just sitting here waiting on him to get a load. So shouldn't be here long at all, but hopefully this weather don't turn on us. I mean, you know, an inch of rain ain't gonna do us any favors, but it won't be detrimental as long as it don't rain all the next week. So we'll have to see what happens here. He's doing a fine job. Told me he wasn't quite ready to unload on the go yet, which that's totally fine. I'm not gonna push him. He's got 16 rows left. He done some unloading on the go last year. I know I let him run it in a field or two, but this is his first trip out the gate this year. I think he just wanted to get familiar with everything again, so that's fun. Well, he got her done. No major accidents. That's a plus. I knew he'd be fine. Well, I'll probably cut this video off here. I know it's a little short. I ain't had time to do a whole lot of video, and we're still trying to get in the rhythm of things here. So there'll be plenty more to come. I think we've harvested a little over 200 acres of corn now. So, you know, we're getting a real good start. But sounds like an inch of rain moving in tonight. So I think tomorrow, as long as it's not pouring down rain, we're gonna set an auger up to the bins and start trucking some corn out of the bin to town. Got some contracts to fill. And other than that, you know, just do some general maintenance, check the combine over real good, check all the belts, chains, get it greased up and ready for the next hitch. So with that being said, I guess we will see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in.